Good evening and welcome once again to the Private Property Podcast. I am your brand new host, Sibs Matiela, although I don't know how long you can say brand new for. So I'm just going to say I am your host, Sibs Matiela. We're here to talk about all things property, brought to you proudly by privateproperty.co.za, whose main mission and objective in life is to connect you to the heart of property. And that's what we do with this podcast. Every single day, we bring you closer and closer to beginning your property journey. And if you're already on that path, then to diversifying your portfolio and learning all sorts of tips and tricks that'll help you along your merry little way to build wealth and success through property. Today we're actually talking about insurance with the head of First for Women. I don't know if their song still is. It was like, get cover with care, get First for Women. I don't know if that's still the song, but you know, that's the lady we're speaking to today. But before we get to Seugnette van Wyngaard, I need to remind you, not we, the general we, but I need to remind you that all roads lead to the property show.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual with content generated in our metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.
You heard my man, the guy in the thing. No matter where you are on your property journey, we have got the experts. So please join us at the Property Show. It's happening on the 27th and the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. If you click on the link in the comment section, you'll be able to find your way to the link and then the bobbies where you can buy a ticket. Otherwise, if you are the best interactor or the highest interactor on today's episode or maybe yesterday's episode, then you could be up to win $500 and a ticket to that property show happening once again on the 27th and the 28th of August right here at the Sandton Convention Center. If you can't be here physically, you can join us digitally from anywhere in the world. You can still buy those tickets in the link in the comments section. Back to today's episode, though, of the Private Property Podcast. I speak to the head of First for Women, Seugnette van Wyngaard, who's going to tell us about how to structure our insurance in the most cost-effective and comprehensive way. Seugnette, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Sips. It's a really honor to join you on the show. Thank you.
First of all, I must ask, is the song still the same? Get cover with
It
care.
is not so. Not anymore. We have evolved and moved on. Unfortunately for you, Sips.
Okay, well, I can't wait to memorize the new song. I hope there's still a catchy song.
It is still there, yes.
Listen, let's get down to the brass tacks, right? In the South African commercial market, traditionally, we've seen that people remain uninsured. And we see this trend increases as, tough economic times roll by. We've just come out of, I hate saying coming out of, because I think COVID is still a very real thing that we're living with. But coming out of the pandemic and the economic effects it had on very many people, insurance became one of those things that maybe people had to sort of cut down on or say, where can I cut out my expenses? Because I'm not making it. I'm not able to pay all of these bills. I mean, according to the AA, apparently 70% of South Africa's motorists are uninsured. Why do you think this is the case?
I think there's been a legacy of a very long perceived understanding or idea in the market that insurance is expensive and as such is considered a grudge purchase. Other than walking into a retail store or going to a property show where you can buy something physically and walk away with that in your basket, buying insurance is really buying a promise in good faith for that unforeseen event that may or may not happen. So it's difficult for consumers to understand that, I need to buy something I can't physically touch or see it. but I'm buying it for something that might or might not happen in the future. The reality is that there is many flexible product offerings available, and customers can structure their products and their payments that tailor specifically for their unique needs. So it doesn't need to be expensive. Yet it is so important, and we'll talk about some of, events that recently happened in the country where, if it wasn't for insurance, many people out there would have been lost and economically in a very bad position if it wasn't for insurance.
I'm glad that you touched on that, and we will get to that in a second. But first, I'd like to ask you, what exactly is comprehensive insurance, and how can one go about managing their insurance portfolio so that I have the most comprehensive cover?
So there's different types of comprehensive insurance depending on the asset that you're insuring. So, for example, on comprehensive vehicle insurance, it is cover that will provide you with cover in the event of an accident, or if your vehicle is stolen, or if you are involved in a hijacking. And under the definition of accident cover, we also include flood, storm, fire, or even if a third party is causing the damage to your vehicle. When we talk about comprehensive insurance on your home contents, that includes cover for items that is stolen from your home or damaged in your home. And this includes damages that is caused by a break-in, theft, fire, lightning, explosions, malicious damage, earthquakes, storms, flood, and even, damages caused by the bursting or the overflow of a geyser or pipe. So as you can see, there's quite a bit covered under that. Then when we talk about building insurance, it is obviously covered for damages to the structure of your home and your outbuildings. And once again, depending on your budget, you can tailor and structure that cover so that it caters for what you can afford, and what you believe would be your highest risk. And that's why it's so important that when you engage with your financial advisor, that you express those needs very specifically, that you do not have a nasty surprise in the event of a claim where you thought it was covered and then it is not covered. But for example, if you live in a secure estate, you might decide that it's not such a big risk for the contents of my unit to get stolen, but I still want cover for fire and storm, and therefore you can opt to only elect cover for fire and storm, and then also only pay for that cover.
I hear you. I'm glad you keep touching on fire and storm, because I think that's an important thing to sort of address. We've seen a lot of disasters happen, natural disasters, man-made disasters. We saw the July unrest, for instance, in KZN, Gauteng. People lost, and there was a lot of damage to property, sort of irreparable damage, that if you weren't insured against, you would have been in a very, very tricky situation. At the same time, we're facing a global climate crisis with climate change and global warming. Areas are going through droughts in unprecedented ways. We're seeing flooding, we're seeing fires, we're seeing all sorts of, it seems like the hand of God or whatever you believe in is just, I don't know, trying to purge the earth of the human race, I suppose. That sounds very doom and gloomy. But my point is, you've got stuff, then there's a drought, or there's a fire, or there's a flood. How do I make sure that I've got the most comprehensive cover that will cover those things? Because it's unexpected. I didn't expect that there would be a fire raging through, but now, it's something that's happening. Am I covered? How do I know if I'm covered? What does the coverage include? What does it exclude? Oh no, it's hailing my car. All of the windows are smashed. How do I make sure that in those situations and under those very what can I say, sporadic circumstances, that I'm covered?
So you touched on quite a few points there, Sips. And when we talk about flood and storm, we refer to it as acts of God. So rightfully so. It's the question is it man-made as a result of climate change? I think the jury is out on that. But yes, so for example, your contents, your building, your vehicle, if you elected comprehensive insurance, flood and storm will always be included in that cover. On hail cover specifically, on vehicles, it is an added option that you can elect to either include or not. So once again, when you engage with your financial advisor, make very sure that you ask about hail cover specifically. And you know, you might say, but Seugnette, why would you even consider not taking it? We do know that there is certain areas of the country that is more exposed to hailstorms versus other areas where, you know, it might not happen that frequently. It can still happen, but for example, in the Western Cape, you know, they are less likely to have hail. Doesn't mean that people can automatically just decide not to include it. If you can afford it, I always say, if you can afford it, please add it, because you never know where you drive on holiday and might be exposed to a hailstorm. When we talk about riots, that is, you know, a little bit different and is structured differently on the different products. So on home contents and building insurance, that is always included, and it's referred to as SASRIA cover. So it's the South African Special Risk Insurance, but that is automatically included when you take out home or contents insurance. On your vehicle, if it is finance, it's always automatically included. If it's, however, not finance, like hail cover, it's an option that you can discuss with your broker or your advisor to either include or exclude. But again, Sibs, I'm talking about a minimal extra premium per month to include that cover, because you just never know.
I get that, but realistically speaking, budgets are very tight. So how would you say that people should go about structuring their insurance cover in the most cost effective, but also to get all of those comprehensive benefits? Because you speak to an insurance broker. I mean, I have a financial advisor, and it often feels as though sometimes someone is pushing a particular product. Oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. What about if this happens? And in all of the talk, I suppose one can forget what to ask. What risks do I need to be protected against in particular? Because now you're selling me all sorts of dreams about things that may or may not happen. What if I'm in a car accident and I lose my leg? What if I'm not? So it can become very overwhelming and very confusing sometimes to have these conversations with your broker so that you get what you need and the best cover for your specific needs out of that conversation. So when speaking to a broker, what would you advise our viewers to actually be doing to get the most comprehensive cover that also suits their pocket?
You know, I always say, you know, when you decide to take out that policy or, you know, go down the lane of, you know, acquiring insurance, just like anything else, you don't just wake up in the morning and take 15 minutes and you purchase a house that you're going to pay for the next 20 years at a cost of 4 million rand, for example. And people sort of misunderstand the importance of taking the time with your broker or your advisor, sit down and really in detail go through what is needed. What will it cover me for? Do I really need that? Or can I maybe admit to take this part of the cover, but you know what, I do need, for example, this section. And so that's really my advice. Please take the time to make the right decision, and rightfully so. Ask every single question, anything that you're not clear about, you know, as well as making sure that you're all engaging with a reputable broker or you know, financial advisor, that we are held, you know, to very high standards by the FSCA, and we need to declare and show and prove to the FSCA how we treat our customers fair, how we are giving sound financial advice, and therefore, you know, take the time and go through it meticulously and ask all the questions that you can possibly think of, and don't ever feel under pressure to take products that you believe you don't need at the time. You can always start with a basic product. For example, your vehicle might be your highest risk item. Start with your vehicle. Decide what cover do you need for your vehicle, and then as your financial position change, you can always add your home contents or the building that you want to insure, or for example, the cell phone that you want cover on.
Seugnette, I'm having a falling out with my current broker. We're not on good terms, we're fighting. So I'm in the market. First for Women has a lot of awesome products to offer. Tell me why I must move to First for Women.
So first of all, we are the only insurer in South Africa that is putting women's safety first. And you might ask me, Seugnette, but what does safety really have to do with my insurance? And the reality is women are not safe in this country. And that is why we identified that as a gap in the market to see, but over and above the standard comprehensive products, that everyone else is offering, what else can we add to that product that can keep women safe? So what are the value added products that we can add to our offering that will make sure that SIPs then actually take out that policy with First for Women? For example, we've got unlimited trip monitoring available on whether you take the full suite of comprehensive vehicle insurance, or whether you buy one of our essential products that might cover you, because you say, for example, you say to me, Seugnette, I can only afford 250 Rand for my vehicle insurance. I can structure cover for you, but I will still include all the added benefits. You will still have access to trip monitoring. You will still have full access to the First for Women app, with the panic button included, with all the roadside and emergency services available. And that's why we believe we are different and unique to what everyone else is offering out there.
This sounds like an obvious question, but is First for Women only for women?
No, not necessarily, but it is predominantly women, but we do have male customers. Some are taking out the cover for themselves. Others are buying policies on, for their daughters, for their wives, for their spouse, for a sister, a mother. So undoubtedly, we are not discriminating against men. They are more than welcome to take out an insurance policy with First for Women and will enjoy all the benefits that women enjoy on their First for Women policy.
Listen, Seugnette, you actually had me at panic button. I think I'm going to email you as soon as we're done with this recording, because you're completely right. And your offerings speak directly to me. And I think many of the women in South Africa who are very much in need of the exact products that you're offering us. Seugnette van Wyngaard, the head of First for Women, thank you so much for joining us on the Private Property Podcast today. And I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Tips, and I'll look out for your email. Thank
Definitely. Listen, it's time for our daily competition where someone gets to win a whopping $500 in cold hard cash and a ticket to the property show happening on the 27th and the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. Today's lucky winner is, I took my spectacles off and now I have to put them back on, Bianca Pearl Queens. Congratulations to you. $500 is on its way to you, as well as a ticket to the property show, and I hope to see you there. I will be the one in the private property colors, because this podcast and myself proudly brought to you by privateproperty.co.za. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. I'll have more for you tomorrow. I'll see you then.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual, with content generated in our metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.